Welcome to Girl Talk with your host, Melissa Ann. Girl Talk is that show which discusses the real issues Black women face being a mom, a dad, a wife, a girlfriend, a sister, a co-worker, a therapist, or whatever hat Black women wear on any particular day. Why? Because Black women are just dope. Without further ado, here is your host, Melissa Ann.
Welcome to Girl Talk with your girl, Melissa Ann. Today we are in for a treat. We are going to have a conversation with Leticia, who is going to talk a lot about her business and how she is helping other women progress and strive toward their goals with their businesses. So excited for you to hear this conversation today. But without further ado, Leticia, please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people about yourself.
Hello, my name is Leticia, and I am the owner of Blaque Coaching, where I am dedicated to helping Black women in particular start their businesses. It's about overcoming your fears so that you can gain the clarity and confidence needed to build your dream businesses.
Awesome. And I can't let you get away without telling us about that accent and where you're located.
I am originally from Bermuda. I was born and raised in Bermuda, and I am currently living in the West Midlands of England.
Oh, so awesome. So awesome to see Black women all across the world doing their things. So let's jump into the topic. So a lot of women are afraid, right? You're afraid to start your business. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid of what other people think. And so what's the best way to just dive in and get away from that fear and start to progress?
I think it's two-part, if I'm honest. One part is examining your fears. I think it's important to have a good understanding of how your fear shows up in your life. A lot of us say, oh, I'm scared of judgment, but we don't really understand the impact of that fear. And one of the things that I work a lot on with my one-to-one coaching clients is helping them get a true understanding of the impact of their fear, because a lot of times it goes a lot deeper than we realize. For instance, procrastination is often a fear of success. We are often in a place where we are comfortable and we aren't really certain of what success would look like for us. So we subconsciously block ourselves from taking action, which shows up as procrastination. And oftentimes a fear of failure shows up in our lives as perfectionism. We don't take action unless we know something is absolutely perfect. And again, that is based on a fear of failure. So I think it's very important for people to get a good self-awareness of how their fear shows up so that they are able to take steps to rectify that. And then the second part to addressing your fear is taking action. And I like to encourage my clients to take messy action. Just take that first step, which gives you the opportunity to learn and grow and make adjustments to your plan, but it's all moving you forward.
So if you double click on some of the areas where women, you're saying adjust your fear, is really easier said than done for us as women, because we just have so many elements and so many things on our plate that we are having to do. When you double click on that, what are some of the baby steps women can take to remove that fear just to get into walk in their purpose?
I think it's the awareness of whether or not the fear is a psychological fear or a real fear. A lot of times when we start thinking about taking steps and taking actions, we conjure up the worst case scenarios, right? So for instance, I recently left my 9 to 5, and one of the things that went through my mind is, what if I end up homeless? If I operate from that place, I'm not going to take action because I am terrified of becoming homeless. So things that I work on with my clients is really getting a true sense of whether or not your fears are rational. And a lot of times we are operating from irrational fears. We default to the worst case scenario. So, for instance, oftentimes I see women say, I'm terrified of stepping on my own and blowing up because of how my friends and family will perceive me. I might lose friends. I might lose close contacts. But why did we default to that? We can blow up and then also blow up our circle. These people around us can benefit. So if we're taking action from that standpoint that the people around us can benefit if we have success, that eliminates the fear that we have. But if we're operating from, if I have success, I'm going to lose friends, what do you think is going to happen to our actions? We're not going to take it. So my advice is really stepping back and having a look at the narrative that you're telling yourself. And is it really, an actuality? Is this something that really can happen? Or is this the worst case scenario that you are using to justify you not taking action?
What's the narrative you're telling yourself? And
yeah,
that sums it up right there. What's the narrative you're telling yourself? Because it is yourself, that is causing these barriers for success. I'm not a person that owns a business, but that's what you coach for, right? And I would like to, but a lot of it's always like, oh, well, I need my full-time job is taking a lot of my time. I don't have enough resources. I don't know where to start. What happens if I fail? What are some of the things you coach your clients on that would be helpful for the listeners to say, here's step one. Think about step one. What is that? And is that a plan that you are going to, what's the business name even? What is it? Is it a brainstorming session?
It's definitely, I start off my clients, I have a 12-week program, and I start off my clients, first of all, getting very clear on the business that they're looking to build. A lot of times we have these thoughts. I want to be a businessman. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a boss lady. And we don't actually know what that means for us. So I think going through the process and getting clear. Clarity is the first step. What is it? What type of business you're looking to build? How is this going to impact your life? And how is it going to impact others? Because we do things tri-fold, I think. We do things, first of all, to make money. We do things to benefit ourselves and our livelihoods. And then we also do things to make an impact on the world. So getting clear about that helps with motivation and helps carve a way for a pathway to actually building your business. And some of the other steps that I take once we have clarity about the business idea, we start looking at what you uniquely bring to that business idea that provides you with a competitive advantage. So I spend a lot of time focusing with my clients on identifying their zone of genius. Most of us have been operating from our zone of excellence. Is where we generally operate from when we are working for someone else. And I like to encourage my clients, I will explain the difference in a second, but I like to encourage my clients to operate from their zone of genius. So our zone of excellence are skills that we have to work to improve. We start a job and we know the job description and we know we need to do A, B, C in order to get promoted. So we spend our time doing A, B, C. And we may not necessarily like it, but we know it's a requirement of our job and it's a requirement for us to grow. Our zone of genius is what we do naturally, is what we love. And I believe when we are operating from that, that's where we find true fulfillment. Oftentimes when we're growing up, we have these big ideas about, I wanted to be a baker when I was growing up, and I was discouraged from doing that because that's not a good enough job. You're not going to make enough money. But that's where my passion was.
Right.
And I think had I pursued my passion instead of pursuing money, as we are encouraged to do as we grow up, I would have been fulfilled a long time ago. So it's about showing my clients how to find fulfillment and make money at the same time.
That's beautiful. It is funny because I always wanted to be a teacher, right? For as long as I can remember, I had chalkboards. I was dumpster diving for the teachers' books that they were throwing out. Everybody had to play school, but I didn't become a teacher. The other thing is, I always tell my friends, like, dang, why didn't my parents like look at me and say, hey, maybe we should send her to culinary school? Because I was always in the kitchen playing and putting together concoctions. And I'm saying all of that to say is your zone of genius is in you, but you haven't identified it. It's hard to identify. Like you will, I was telling my daughter the other day, you could do a master class and make money from doing master class, but what is it that you are going to present? And it feels like it's so difficult to pull that out when we have so many skills that we can. How do you get women to sit down and really think about what those things are?
I use a lot of tools. I have a lot of worksheets. I got to be honest with my clients, but we sit down and we really understand what gets them excited. I think also understanding your core values as well.
Mm-hmm.
What really truly makes you happiest, what makes you proudest, what makes you most fulfilled. All of that plays a part in identifying your zone of genius. Because when you are taking action aligned with your core values, as well as what you are passionate about, that's your zone right there. You are doing what you were born to do, not cultivating gifts for someone else, right? And I think oftentimes we know what we're passionate about, but we have spent 20, 30 years putting that on the back burner, putting that on the shelf to forget about it, right? So I take my clients back to their childhood and get them start to explore what it is that they wanted to do when they were younger, because most time that is what they're most passionate about. I also ask people, what would you do if you did not make money? If I didn't make money being a coach, I would still do it because I am passionate about helping people, particularly Black women. I want to see us win. So it's not about the paper that I make. It's about making an impact and seeing others progress. So that's how I was able to identify what my zone of genius was. And interesting enough, it was something that I wanted to do from 9 years old. I wanted to help others. And it took me 30 years to get back on track. And a lot of us are like that. We spend so much time ignoring it because someone along the way discouraged us.
Exactly.
Pursuing our passion.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about this, and it really touched me when you was like specifically Black women. We have such a hard journey, and we don't normally pour into each other to walk, like take someone's hand and walk them along the journey, because we are too busy being crabs in the barrel. Mm-hmm. And it breaks my heart when that happens. But for you to say you're specifically focused on how can I get you, sister, from point A to point B through coaching you to make you more successful, to actualize your zone of genius. And that Absolutely. Is so powerful. Why do you have that passion for Black women? And what started your passion for this period, for doing this type of business?
I'll start with the first question because it's very dear to my heart. My mother had 2 master's degrees, multiple postgraduate degrees, and she settled for a job that gave her time freedom because what was most important to her was raising her family. And I watched my mother miserable every single day for 27 years getting up and going to that job. And as a child, I was always one to question social controls and social constructions. I don't do things just because someone else did them. And I always used to ask my mama, why are you doing this job that you hate so much? And her answer always to me was, that's a sacrifice that you have to make for your children. I'm willing to make for my children. And I promised myself in my teenage years that was not going to be my story. I was not going to settle into a job just because I needed to make money. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to break the cycle that I saw my mother, and I'm pretty sure that she saw her mother do, because I wanted to have children. But fast forward 20 years, I was in that exact same position. I was in a position where I hated my job. It paid me very well, and I was outside of the I worked in commercial insurance. So I was outside a commercial insurance center. So in order for me to change jobs, I would have had to uproot my family in order to find another job. And I made a decision once I was able to create that parallel that, wait a minute, this is time for me to break this cycle, because just as I watch my mother, my children are watching me, and no one is impacted by how miserable I am at work as my family is. So I chose my family. I chose my family. And luckily enough, I had already started my business. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to gamble on myself. I spent years going all in, making someone else thousands and thousands of dollars. Now it's time for me to believe in me and make it happen for me. And, you know, that's what I did. And that's why I'm so passionate about particularly Black women. And in an episode that you did recently about taking off the mask at work, that was why I didn't want to be there. I was a manager. I was the second in charge in my department, and I was not able to make decisions. I was second guessed at every turn. Before I left my job, I used to have knee-length dreads, and I used to have comments every single day about my hair, walking into meetings expecting to pour the drinks. And here I am, the most experienced in my team. I had more experience than my manager, and I wasn't even trusted to make a decision that I was hired for. And that is the story of so many Black women.
Yes.
We are hired to then train other people who have a lot less experience than us. We are walked all over, and as soon as we say something, oh my goodness, the aggressive Black woman, you know, and I want to change the narrative. We are spending years building someone else's dreams. Why can't we do it our own? And if we can do that now, we change the generations to come. We show the generations that they do not have to be locked into this cycle.
Oh, and you said like 400 tons of mouthful there in that little segment of how do you first of all, why you're passionate about Black women and what made you move, which was quite compelling. But the piece that you talk about is you're always being second guessed. You're in a position where you're hired as a professional. You can make the decisions, you're educated, but you're always second guessed. No one wants to give you full control, and it is tiresome, and you bring that home to your family. So you making the decision that you're putting your family first, but not only putting your family first, you put you first and your well-being first. And a lot of us don't have the means, A, to do that, but B, I think we don't have the courage to do that. And you exemplify courage by saying, enough is enough. I am who I am. I want to be free. I don't want to be judged by my character. I don't want to be judged by my hair. I want to be judged by what you think I can't do. And it's really tiresome for those of us that are in the grind day in and day out. And what I'm getting to the question. I'm so passionate about this because that was a mouthful. But what's your words of wisdom to those Black women that, are stuck?
You said a very big word, courage, being courageous, right? And courage to me is having the fortitude to work through your fears and take an action anyway, which is why I focus on helping women overcome their fears so that they can be courageous. But it starts with a belief that you're good enough. A belief that you have everything that you need in this moment to be as successful as you desire. And I often tell my clients and the people that follow me, the reason why we have these desires, we have these amazing business ideas, is because we have everything that we need in this moment to make it happen. Our desire is our manifestation of our power. And we often talk ourselves out of it because we don't trust ourselves. So it takes a decision to say, you know what? I'm going to gamble on me. I'm going to work through those fears because 90% of them are irrational. And I'm going to pave a way for myself. It starts with a decision. It starts with a decision to change your narrative today and trust that you have everything that you need to be successful. We discount ourselves.
I hope you have a lot of clients and that people are listening to you on Instagram, because the power, I'm saying this with all sincerity. The power that you are bringing right now, I mean, I want to share you with dozens of people, because what you are saying is powerful. It is really like getting to the root. It is not just about starting a business, failing in that business. It's about the why behind that business and the value you bring as an individual. Like you said, the courage, the confidence. And if you don't have those things and we are addressing Black women, if you don't have those things, you're setting yourself up for failure. Your company is addressing that. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. So, I have a signature program where I take my clients from no idea of how to get started to a successful, viable business in 12 weeks. And we address not only the business strategy around starting a business. Like I can give you all the strategy in the world, but your success comes from embracing a success mindset, which is about embracing failure. Be willing to take messy action and fail 1,000 times, because you know that with every failure, you are edifying yourself. You're giving yourself an opportunity to grow. You're giving yourself an opportunity to learn. And while we're working through the business strategy, so I teach my clients how to do market research. I teach my clients how to get really clear about their ideal clients. I call them their tribe. Create a first product or service that solves a pressing problem for your ideal client in this moment that they are willing to pay for. I show them how to get visible in front of their ideal clients. And through all of that, we are working on the reason why we procrastinate, the root of the excuses they throw up, like I don't have enough time, or I think I need so much money to get started. We talk about our money story because I think sometimes as Black women, we don't have the best relationship with money, right? And a lot of times we don't start businesses because we have this narrative that I'm always broke. Right? So we're going to be talking about that story that you're telling yourself about money and healing that so that you can show up and demand your value when setting price. We examine the reasons why you are hesitant to change, because that's what holds us all back. We like to stay in our comfort zone. So it's about getting you comfortable with being uncomfortable so that you can take messy action and start striving towards your goals. I teach my clients how to plan. So if they are in their 9 to 5, we create a plan of what your exit looks like. And then all through that, we are embracing the success mindset. We really work on the mindset, because it doesn't matter how much strategy you have. If your mindset is not aligned with success, you will not see success. And that is why I think it's so important to focus on mindset with my clients, because building a business is 80% mindset.
Wow. I am taking notes so that when I talk about this, I'm able to make sure that people really hone in on some of the areas. But there's so much that you have talked about. Are your fears natural? You take action so people around you can benefit. Your zone of genius, your zone of excellence. There is so many nuggets in here that you have displayed. I've really gotten so much out of this. As a matter of fact, I'm like, okay, I need to take this, and I need my daughter to take your session, because I can see the benefit in it. And like, I don't know. I mean, you should be coaching a lot of people. I'm just going to say, like, I see the mental part of it, but I also see like how you can get out of a rut of I can't. before you and I started, it was like, this is just my passion project. And you're probably thinking, okay, so you need to have more in stock in your passion project, right? So I think, first, what are 3 things you want to leave people about just identifying with their passion, or as you say, you have to have an action mindset? What are those 3 things?
I'm going to talk about the growth mindset. The growth mindset requires 3 steps: self-awareness, the ability to change perspective, and then take action. I'm going to sum it up with an analogy. The growth mindset is like being in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean at night, and you're approaching an island. And on that island is a very tall lighthouse. As you approach, you see nothing. You don't see what's in front of you. You don't see what's behind you. And as this lighthouse comes around, it shines light on your spot for maybe 30 seconds. That spotlight is self-awareness. And what that allows you to see is where you've come from and where you're going. And if there is something in front of you that requires you to change course, at least you are now aware of it and you are in position to change your course based on what that self-awareness, what that spotlight brings you. So awareness is so key. Being aware of what keeps you back, what holds you back, what narratives you are saying to yourself. We are not often aware about how powerful our words are, but the way that we speak to ourselves, the way that we view ourselves will impact our self-awareness. And we want to be in a position that when we have that moment of spotlight, we are willing to change perspective. We are willing to take action so that our narrative can serve us. Being willing to reflect, being willing to challenge your narrative, and being willing to take action.
Challenging your narrative. Most times we say change the narrative. You're saying challenge the narrative. Right? So you're challenging the narrative so you can change, right?
Yeah. The reason why I say challenge is because there's a process. A lot of times we think that the easiest way to see positivity in our life is go from I can to I can. But we don't believe that if we have been telling ourselves, I can't for so long. So the process of challenging the narrative is showing you why you can, so that you are carrying the evidence of I can with you. Because just changing the narrative, subconsciously your brain is like, wait a minute, you haven't been saying this for the last 30 years. Why do I believe you now? But challenging it is actually creating the evidence that, yes, I can do this. So when you subconsciously think about it, you got the evidence there. I can because I've done it before. I can because I want to. I can because I have the evidence that I can. So that's the difference between changing and challenging. It's leaving you with a subconscious paper trail in it of why your narrative needs to change.
Yeah. You have been a powerful, powerful guest here. I am so excited that we crossed paths and would love to have you on with some other women when I do a Blackpreneur event coming up soon. So love to have you back so you could talk about your business again, because I think you need to talk about it over and over and over. But how can people reach you?
They can get in contact with me on Instagram. My handle is Blaque Rose Coaching. Blaque is spelled Blaque, Rose Coaching. And I deliver daily value in my stories, and I am constantly putting content out there. I do weekly live trainings on Instagram at noon on Sundays, Eastern time, noon Eastern on Sundays. And get in contact with me, send me a message. Let's start a discussion. I like chatting with women, building my community and seeing how I can be of service.
Well, it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. Thank you once again.
And thank you for your time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And as always, I see you because I am you.
You have just listened to the Girl Talk podcast with your host, Melissa Ann. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Play. Until next time, remember, I see you because I am you.